set to return to school in the coming weeks. The back-to-school shopping lists are getting longer and longer and longer and more expensive. One item increasingly appearing on that list is a mobile phone, with Aussie parents said to fork out hundreds of millions of dollars this year on devices for their kids. The top reasons for the sale: reaching kids quickly in emergencies, as well as accessing location sharing. But when does tracking your child become a breach of privacy? Well, we're joined now by digital wellbeing expert Dr. Jo Orlando. Morning to you, Jo.
Morning.
Firstly, take us through just how parents are doing this.
Yeah, so there's a few different options for parents. They can do something like get a location tracking app. They can use a feature on the phone, which is like Find My, which we find on iPhones, or even use luggage kind of tracking apps that they pop them in the child's phone. So there's a smorgasbord of resources that parents can use.
My kids are so young, we don't need this yet, but I can understand when you've got teenagers that this is key to kind of keeping the family safe. Do you think it's okay to track your child's age, a child's phone rather, at any age?
Well, I think there's a time when they get a bit old. So, for example, I have tons of parents say, I've given her a tracking app, but she keeps turning it off. She's 16. I just want to make sure she's safe. That's a very typical conversation. So you're just thinking it's convenient, it's keeping them safe, it saves a phone call kind of idea. But for someone who's 15 or 16, developmentally, they're all about being independent, making their way to being an independent adult. So they see this kind of thing as a massive breach of their privacy, and kind of rightly so. So rather than using something that's a bit more invasive, like a location tracking app, it's about kind of teaching them to be responsible, putting the responsibility on them to call you or to check in with you, teaching them how to be safe. These apps kind of just watch your child, but it doesn't actually teach them how to be responsible and how to be safe.
And maybe it's a conversation. You say, well, I'll have the app on my phone too, so you know where I am, and, I'm paying for the bill, so maybe therefore until you get your own phone, that's a responsibility. Is that a good conversation to have?
No, that's an absolutely essential conversation to have. As parents, we need to take them through the years, and these conversations increasingly get more complex until they get to the point where you say, okay, I'm going to put more responsibility on you. Let's take small steps. This is how we're going to do it, and set some parameters around. So slowly you take a little bit of a step back, and they take a greater step towards responsibility.
All about growing up. Thank you so much for that, Jo. Here's David.
Thank you.